detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. Jared is currently in Japan, so, you know, we will miss his depth of knowledge on such a film that we've got to cover tonight. But, Matty, we've decided to go with a foreign film.
Because we're cultured.
We are cultured. There was a couple of others on the agenda, I believe, that you put forward, but I like to look at this one.
This one spoke to you.
Yeah, it did speak to me. This is Korean, I believe. Is that correct?
It is,
yes,
yeah,
it's Korean.
South Korean.
South Korean. It is Badland Hunters from this year. But before we do that, Matty, have you watched anything recently?
I do have a bit of a list, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with the Boys.
I love that movie.
It is classic.
It is classic.
It is vintage.
It is.
When my boy, before he went to sleep, said Van Diemen's High School football rules and raised his arms while he was lying in his bed, I was very proud. I was like, I've done something right here.
I love that movie, but also I actually think Bogus Journey is also good.
It's not as good from memory.
No, it's not as good, but it still has moments.
It does.
Have you seen the
I haven't.
new one?
I've avoided it on purpose.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I want to. I really want to.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned it'd kind of suck.
It's in that same boat as the new Willy Wonka. I just don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
The original. I'm quite happy with what
Okay.
I've got.
How about this one? What about the New Beverly Hills Cop?
Well, I think that's part of the package. I think it's, I don't know. I feel like that's probably, it's a new product.
Yeah.
So it's completely different from, I don't know. I guess I don't love the original Beverly Hills Cop as much as I do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay.
Not that it's not a good movie.
No, I agree.
Great movie.
It doesn't have the nostalgia factor.
It's not I'm not attached to it.
No, it'll be interesting because that actually obviously comes out on Thursday, the new Beverly Hills Cop. And Jared was very down on the trailer.
Yeah.
It didn't look real good.
Well, I guess in context and hearing your thoughts on Bad Boys, you Bad Boys, it's in the same sort of boat.
Yeah, I think so.
A bit of a payday, you reckon?
Oh, fuck yeah. Supposedly it cost 150 mil, and a lot of it went, quite a bit went to Eddie Murphy.
I believe that.
Yeah. I think that's the only reason he come back.
Well, that's going to get bums on seats, right?
Yeah. I think people will watch it just for nostalgia alone, and then it might do well on Netflix because it's not going to the cinemas, so it's kind of like, well, we just need to get people to watch it on Netflix, and I think they will. I actually think they will.
Yeah.
But I don't see another movie coming out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Eddie Murphy's fucking 63 or 64.
If Martin Lawrence can get it.
Honestly.
I went and saw Bad Boys, by the way.
Did you?
I did.
What did you think?
I didn't hate it as much as you did, but
what did you think of it?
I think Martin Lawrence is past it. He should not be in an action film. He looks ill. And
he looks ill.
I don't know how they've rustled up the idea that he should be in it. But,
yeah. Look, I thought that
it had some good bits. I thought it had some. I didn't mind. And you said that you didn't like the action in it. I thought the action was good. I liked the first person fighting in that final scene, but it is basic as like in terms of the plot.
Oh yeah.
Following,
I mean, I think all of them have been a bit basic, but I think I was partially more disappointed because I thought the one before that was actually good.
Yeah,
like Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, was
good.
Like I don't remember anything about.
It actually brought them back pretty well and threw a couple of curveballs into the mix. Yeah. This didn't do any of that. I think it's because that one was successful. It's almost like we'll get another one after this. So it's another trilogy's worth of these movies. So they're probably thinking, well, fuck, we'll just roll out the same sort of product.
Yeah.
I must admit, I did enjoy the bit where fucking Reggie or whatever, he just
that
goes to town. Yeah, he just goes to town. That was the best
part in the whole movie.
And then you both just sit there going, fuck.
I want to watch that movie. I was watching it saying, that's the movie I want to see.
That's the guy. He kicked ass. Like, I love that bit. And
him owning the barbecue at the end.
yeah. He's like, he killed 15 people.
Arguing.
And they're like, all right, I'm on the salads.
Step aside.
Yeah. So what else you got?
So, yeah, I watched Taken. The original.
Okay.
Which I couldn't remember, so I went back and I watched it, and I think I'd seen it before, but...
How'd you feel?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah. That's up 4.5 or a 5 out of 5.
Fuck.
I love it.
You really love that one.
I just like that sort of the quietly spoken guy who knows more than anybody else in the room.
Yeah.
And uses his knowledge as well as just kick some ass. Some of the action scenes though, it just feels like a legit thing. He's got a body in front of him and he's just like shooting people.
I think
he's efficient.
Why Taken works is because it's so simple. Like it's a simple kind of revenger that, and it throws in a couple of nice lines and shit. Yeah. Like the whole, I've got a particular set of skills, and then I just like the one at the end where the bloke's like, it wasn't personal, and he goes, it's personal to me. And he just shoots him. I thought that stuff was it's simple and effective, and Liam Neeson can act too. Yeah, so it works.
Just his switch. As soon as he gets on the phone, I will find you and I will kill you. It's so good.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it. I enjoy it. It's a good, solid revenge sort of film.
I've been watching. I saw Hacks, which is a comedy.
Is that a TV show?
It is. Yeah. And they're basically following this comedian who's like a bit more mature. She's looking to get a job as a TV show host, and she's struck up this relationship with one of the writers that's like a little bit toxic. And it's just how they sort of sabotage their lives because they just love the art so much. Yeah, but
good.
Great. It's really good. It's entertaining. It's pretty good.
Oh, good.
I've been watching Clipped.
The Clippers series.
Yeah, as a sad Clippers fan, as always. Today they lost Paul George, but
he's jumped ship.
He's gone.
I
was texting Jad about it today, but no, they didn't want to invest 4 years. I don't blame them, so they're going to blow it up.
Well, he would be a little bit older, wouldn't he?
He's 34, so he signed a 4-year contract. You don't really. Not everyone's playing like LeBron until
not in their late 30s. Yeah.
Especially a dude with a broken leg, the way that he hurt himself.
Yes,
so.
I remember that vividly.
It's a bit sad.
It was very nasty.
Yeah.
And how was the show? Like the show, Jared said he thought it was all right too.
Yeah. It's entertaining. It's just I've listened to all the podcasts about it leading into it. Ramona Shelburne did the original, the Breaking podcast about it, and followed it as it was happening as well. Yeah. Obviously, a big fan of the NBA, so. I'm loving it. I just find it really, really funny. It just some of the representations of the players, like they make Chris Paul out to be a complete dickhead at all times. It's like probably true.
Yeah, possibly.
But I love the bloke. I love his intensity. And, he signed with the Spurs today. So,
did he?
Yeah. So he'll be throwing some lobs up to Wemby.
Well, I'll take that as a Spurs man. Even though he's probably past it, I feel like he's probably got something to offer.
He does. He still knows the game. So it's not that hard. He doesn't have to jump above the rim.
That's right. He just dish it out.
Anywhere. Yeah, he does that effectively.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the hospital, which is in the deep end. So basically they've taken Sam Johnson from Secret Life of Us.
Oh, yeah.
This Asian lady who I don't know who she was. I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't paying enough attention at that point. And then Costa, the gardener.
The gardening guy.
Yeah. And they've thrown them into different parts of the hospital. So they throw Sam Johnson in. Well, I was watching. He just looks horrible at the moment.
Hang on.
They put him in the...
So is this a reality show?
Reality show, yeah. So they put him in the drug rehab spot, and he's... Like, I'm the expert at this. I know all about drugs. I've taken many. I feel like he's there to score some methadone or something. But he's like, I can give expert counselling here because I've received it, But it's and then this other her mum was an ED nurse, so she's getting a reality shock about that.
And what about Costa?
Costa, well, you look at him.
Is he gardening?
Well, they looked at him and they've gone, definitely need to work with homeless people. He's got that big beard. He was on Get Grubby, which I got to see with my youngest.
And what's it like?
Look, it's what you'd expect. They're just sort of going in and saying, I respect the people so much they're involved. It's a bit of a testament to the health industry,
Is it a bit like that? Is this on the ABC?
It's on SBS.
Is it a bit like that one where they put like celebs in the homeless situation?
100%, yeah.
Okay, so similar sort of setup.
Yeah, just showing in this, I guess showing progress in how health services are run now. It's definitely more of the client focused, I guess, or patient focused, and trying to get the best results. They haven't really shown a lot of the really intense stuff where there's like no hope yet.
Yeah.
I guess that's coming up.
Yeah.
It's such an emotional job. You talk to somebody who's worked in an ER and they're just like,
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. I had to tell this bloke that he's about to die or whatever it is, and he'd better start calling people he loves.
Shit.
You're like, that's some horrible stuff.
It'd be an awful job, I think.
Yeah. But that's me. What about you?
Okay, all right. We stayed with the Psychos. We're going to run out of these sooner or later. We watched The Gift.
Yep.
Which is it's a Blumhouse one, and it was done by. It's written and directed by Joel Edgerton.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Square. That's
made for fuck all. I really like it. It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
Especially in that psychopath type of genre, which is kind of what it is. But there's this really interesting way they kind of do it, is that Jason Bateman is the other male character.
Yep.
Who used to go to school with Joel Edgerton. And he's sort of, because Bateman's got that real kind of likeable ability to be really likable when he acts, he's the one who comes undone.
Unhinged.
Yeah. And, kind of unhinged, but he sort of falls apart and you start to see him being a real asshole. And I think it really works. It works fantastically because he's one of those likable actors who suddenly just fucking starts to become just a flog, you know?
Yeah.
So I really liked it. It was actually, you know how in those psycho movies, we need to kill a few people?
Yeah.
It wasn't that type of thing. It was more of a psychological breakdown type of thing, and I liked it. I really liked it. I've seen it before, but I really liked it.
I'll take that. I do like Jason Bateman. You look at him in Arrested Development; he's just the most patient man alive. It sounds like it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, it is. But they use that type of thing to start with, so you're on his side initially, but then it starts to fall apart. We then watched Don't Breathe, which is the one about the 3 burglars who break into the blind guy's house.
Oh, jeez.
It's got Stephen Lang in it.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's an ex, military veteran who suddenly starts taking matters into his own hands. It's quite good. It's quite good. Except for some shit at the end where I was kind of like, we didn't need to go that far. I think Jared knows what I'm talking about here, but it involves a turkey baster and a few... There's a specific sequence where we did not need to have it. It's just fucking disgusting.
Don't break into his house.
I'm just like, fuck, let's not do that. Cut that out. And this is the thing, I'd seen it previously, but then when it happened, I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot all about that. So, yeah, it's a good movie, but shit, I don't want to see that stuff again. Then we pivoted. Oh, no, we went to a Netflix one called Secret Obsession.
Yep.
Garbage.
Oh, no.
It was like, you know, those Lifetime movies?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Oh,
it was just Netflix playing in that sort of shitty bond.
They do that sometimes. They needed something else to put up on the just added.
It's just where they go, we just want to put something out. Here's some shit we fucking filmed the other week. Then we changed gears to a romantic comedy called Anyone But You.
Sounds horrible.
Which had Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney in it. It was all right. And it was filmed in Australia.
Yeah.
It was actually filmed in Australia. And we get a Rachel Griffiths in there. We get a Brian Brown in there. Like they did a really good job with that. Like, your Aussie people go, fuck, there's Brian Brown.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. And the chemistry between the two main stars was good. Like that, and I think that's what gets these sort of movies over the line.
Yeah.
So it was worth a viewing. I then watched The Bear, season 3.
I've seen the first season.
I saw the first 2 episodes of season 3.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. The first episode of season 3 is basically very little dialogue. And it just kind of like plays out kind of this character's kind of backstory.
Yeah.
It was really, really well done. And the second episode was equally as good. You know, you kind of there's a real intensity to that shit.
Yeah.
And they've really captured it well. And 3 seasons in, the quality hasn't dropped.
Some of the people that work in the food industry if they're not doing that job, they are in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just you're working when everybody else is busy.
Yeah.
The
But just the fucking intensity of being in a kitchen like that.
Being in a kitchen, it's high pressure, and especially when you got debts, and and they're just so focused on, especially like that character's been at the heights of the industry. You just have such high standards for himself.
Yeah, and it's really good. Get through season 2 as quickly as you can. Because season 2 was awesome. There's a couple of episodes in season 2 where I was like, it's the best fucking television I've seen in years. You know? Nice. And the last thing I watched is the first 2 episodes of a new show on Disney called Under the Bridge, which is another one of those true crime type of things, an incident that occurred in the late 90s. That they're kind of rejigging it and showing it as a fictional type of cover. Not too bad so far. It's interesting. There's one character that I just turned to my wife and said, if this person actually exists, they're a fucking twat. And she's like, I think they're making it seem like she's probably worse than she was. And I was like, I fucking hope so.
Probably not.
Because she's just awful. Like, I was just like, every time she came on screen, I was just like, oh, God. And it's not the actress's fault. Like, she's doing the job they're asking her to do, which is make this person very unlikable. Yeah. But it was just so unlikable. I was just like, oh, man. And lastly, I just watched it before we got together. The first episode of there's a book series my daughter put me onto called The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Yep. And the book was awesome. Yeah. The book was really, really good. It's about a girl who she starts reinvestigating a murder from 5 years ago using like a podcast. Yep. And the book was done that way. Like certain chapters were like classic novel. The next chapter was like a transcript of an interview she'd done. Yeah, cool. Things like that. And initially I was like, when I first started reading, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like I was a bit kind of iffy about it. But as it went along, it worked really well that way. This was the first episode of the series of it. And for some reason, it was made by Netflix, I think, but it's on Stan.
Oh, right. They just sell it around?
Maybe they've only got the rights in America, which doesn't release till August. So for some reason, it's on Stan as of today. All right. The first episode was all right. Like, I think it's hard when you've read the book. You're kind of looking at it with this lens of like, have they actually done this correctly? Yeah. As I would have felt.
The detail.
Not bad so far. Like, so the casting's pretty good, and they've done pretty well on that front. So. That was an interesting watch. My daughter will be very interested to watch it because she was a real big fan of the book. But that's it. All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 2024's Badland Hunters.
Ay, 맛있겠다.
Badland Hunters from 2024. Now, I'm going to apologise profusely before I do this because these names will not go down well, I would suggest. So, directed by Hayao Miyong Hang.
Nailed it.
Yeah, as if I would know him, I'm sure. Produced by Bayan Seong Min. Nailed that, though. Like, that was clean. I went through that.
Authentic.
It's written by Kim Bo Tong and Kwok Jae Min.
Yep.
Sounded authentic.
I feel like I'm in South Korea.
It stars Ma Dong Seok as Nam San, Neo Jong Yi as Han Su Na, Lee Jun Young as Choi Jun Wan, and Heo Fung as El Pagini. The budget was $18 million. Now, I don't know what that... It didn't say whether it was 18 million Korean dollars or 18 million American dollars. And obviously it's streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
So no box office. And the trivia is it was director Hayao Myung-hyang's directorial debut. All right. Matty, this was your pick. How'd you feel?
I like aspects of it, and I didn't like aspects of it. Some terrific action in there. I liked the lead man. I thought he was about a foot bigger than everybody else, but could still pull off the quiet temperament, the quiet butcher behind the stand, you know. I really liked that. I thought he did a fantastic job. The side characters were good, nice little trio going in to cause some havoc. The plot made no sense, and everybody else in that community was a moron. But it was a decent enough avenue to get the action going. So, look, all in all, I gave it a 2.5 stars.
2.5. All right, there's nothing new at all as far as the plot, the world building, the character development. There is nothing that we haven't seen a million times over. But there's a number of decent fight scenes. There's plenty of gore and violence. And it ramps up. The end is just full of that stuff. So it makes it a pretty enjoyable 100 minutes. I actually had a pretty good time with it. I gave it 3 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, straight off the bat, likes. The visual effects are all right. I think for the most part, most of that stuff with the broken down sort of the earthquake destroyed city, even the alligator at the start, or the crocodile, whichever it is that comes out,
steroid croc.
Yeah, it kind of definitely doesn't look real, but it's acceptable.
Created
I guess.
a bit of tension getting in the door there.
Yeah, it's acceptable to see it. So I take my hat off to the FX work. I think it's pretty solid on that front. Opening sequence. I liked the fact that it kind of set the tone that there was some nefarious shit going on with regards to the doctor. Then the earthquake hits. And then by that stage, we get the haves and the have-nots and we've got a class, we've got the bus area where there's a lot more people, but then you've got other people living kind of on their own. So I think that's pretty quickly established, which isn't too bad. Like it's not rocket science or anything. It's not nuanced, but it's acceptable for what we're trying to produce. Then once we get into all that, we get a pretty decent blue between the main guys and those weirdos who just fucking
they turn up. It's like a cartoon.
I know.
They're like pulling faces. There's a dwarf in there.
I wasn't sure about the dwarf. I was like, what the fuck?
He was getting involved. He was getting his weapons out and really throwing for it. But we know straight away who the boss is in that situation.
Yeah, that's right.
He rolls his eyes and then sorts them out. He's
yeah,
great.
exactly. I know. And again, we established that he is kind of not superhuman, but he's kind of like stronger than everyone else. It just kind of sets that whole thing that he's kind of like and looked up to.
Yeah.
And we get some what I would call pretty basic character development. Yeah. But the girl, he saved her life, I think, when she was young.
Yeah.
Which, okay, it's pretty fucking bare bones.
Yeah, it's basic, isn't it?
But it works for what we have. Because she kind of looks up to him. Then we've got his offsider who's trying to he's clamouring for her attention.
He's working some angles.
He's working angles.
He's like, look, you can draw me if you really want. He's following her around. There's no doubt about it.
I'll be like, take a hike, right? Until you do something that's going to impress me, off you go.
It's nice to know that even during an apocalypse that he's still trying to get his end wet. He's definitely just hanging around.
Yeah.
They are dirty. Everyone is dirty. But he's like a backpacker just chasing someone in the wilderness. He's just hoping she'll let him in his sleeping bag.
Come on.
Yeah.
I like the way he rocks up and he goes, I killed the alligator or whatever. He tries to explain to her that it was him who killed it.
He's doing a head wobble.
Like, come on, mate. Just go back behind the back and just shut up.
Yeah.
I liked all that. I liked but again, you're correct. The scumbag's going to come out of nowhere and just fucking pull up in their car and start going, start grabbing people.
Yeah.
I think they were grabbing, and again, that comes back to what we see a little bit later. They were taking the older people.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I thought were they getting the older? They were trying to
getting the
thin
younger?
out. Oh, they were trying to get the younger, which was weird because they're like, let's try all these different methods of getting people. One of them is we're going to use that religious cult aspect of, we're going to offer you this nice place or whatever. Come with us. We're well dressed and well to do.
Yeah.
And then the other side, we've just got these thugs that are working for us, semi-competent thugs. And,
whose version of getting things is just rocking up and then sort of strong-arming people to get in the fucking car.
Which, I don't know, which again took away from it to some extent, not to go negative, but I was like, they had the military. Like, you can take whoever you want at any time.
But also, why wouldn't you just use the military to herd them into this place where, we've got food, water, this is sanctuary.
That's enough.
And then
they see the water in the water bottle, and they're gobsmacked. They're like, this is amazing. Where did you get that water
1 minute ago, I was lining up to get a bit of alligator meat.
That's right.
Like a sliver of alligator meat.
Yeah.
Now, I can go and get a fucking full meal.
Yeah, that's right.
And to me, your military could just guide them down there. Because it seemed like the military were all in the pocket of the doctor.
Got the weapons. Yeah, that's right. Which he's a bit of a questionable leader, right?
I know.
You know, this bloke in his previous life was about to get shot and arrested for his whatever he was doing. But, sitting there injecting random things. He's a step away from those dudes that are injecting oil into their biceps to make themselves look huge. He's in that pathway, you know. He's in that part of the Venn diagram.
You know what though? I'll get to it later, but he's got some fucking explaining to do when he unveils what he's been cooking up.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going for it. Nobody.
His Hippocratic oath got broken a long time ago.
Shit, nobody's going for it. Everyone's just going, oh my God, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's taking eugenics to the next level for sure.
Exactly. Now, I got to say, I think this was probably the best sequence. No, not the best sequence of the film because there's an action scene later on that I really liked. But when they take the old grandma and the other old guy and shepherd them off to fucking nowhere and then just say, basically they're going to kill them because they're old and they get sort of moved on. And then they engage in a blue with our heroes and that's where you find out they're still living but they can't really be killed. Yeah. Or they're like zombies.
Yeah.
And I really liked the bit where he gets stabbed through the guts and he goes down and he just kind of sits up and then breaks the fucking sword off. Nice, really nice way to uncover that. I thought that was
cutting
cool.
his own foot off.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
what
we're going to
was
track
fucking
you.
old mate doing though? I outsmarted you. Pick up your bow and arrow and put one in his scone, no you? You know he's a crazy man.
You've killed the alligators by taking their head off. You know that's the only way this
that's
work.
right. That's right.
It doesn't take that long. You're not that dumb.
But the problem with that was one of the only problems with that sequence is that again, I know they were kind of portraying him as kind of less useful than the other guy. But, I mean, fuck. Get your shit together. These guys, that guy got stabbed all the way through. He just stood up and snapped the thing off and then came after you.
Yeah.
And clearly you need to go to work on him if you can get him upside down.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just that
Don't watch him sort himself out.
See you later, mate. You're gone. You take him out.
I'm still not quite sure why he cut his foot off and not the rope. But
I know you're trying to show us he's zombified, but shit. He supposedly has full thinking going on up there, though.
Well.
Because they weren't...
Unless it's that reptilian thing of I'm going to regrow my own foot. It's not...
It'll grow back, won't it?
Yeah. Someone's told him that in the training video.
Oh, yeah, it'll grow back.
Yeah.
Now, with that whole sequence was cool. I kind of dug the punch up between the two gangs. And then Nam San intercedes into it, and so they whoop the shit out of all of them.
It's a great entry into it.
Yeah, I really like that. And then followed up with that sequence where he's got them all lined up, And he's saying, so where did you get the water and the guns? And then he's just like, you don't know anything. Whack.
Bang. You're
And
out.
he's just walking along the line, flogging the shit out of everybody.
Knocks everyone out. That boss is the biggest coward ever. He just lets everyone get knocked out.
And he's
"All
like,
right, guys, that's enough."
he's like, I know something. I can tell you.
He was comical.
Yeah.
How scared he was of everyone.
Yeah, I dug that. And then he gets punched in the guts and he's like, oh, my stomach hurts.
His reaction in the car when they break into the compound. He's the most scared bloke in the business.
And then they come out shooting and he hides up against the wall.
I did like how they were presented, actually. The different gangs had, like, different coats or whatever.
Yeah,
They obviously
colours.
raided the mall. And,
Yeah. One of them had more colourful clothing, and then old mate Tiger had kind of like a dark.
He was wearing, like, a fluffy coat, like he was a gangster rapper. He was ready to go.
He was this close to having a top hat and a fucking cane.
But that's what happens when you're in apocalypse.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta create your own style.
You got to be fashionable.
Yeah.
Be fashionable. So this is my favourite sequence. I think. No. I'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I liked this sequence. I really did. I actually thought it had a real creepy vibe to it, where he uncovers his daughter.
Yep.
Cut fucking. She's just a head.
Yeah. The
and
torso.
an upper torso.
Yeah.
And the heart's still beating.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really creepy image because, guts is hanging out everywhere. And then
It just showed how
heart.
desperate he was to sort this out.
Sure, she was kept in a thing of formaldehyde or some shit. And again, if I go, da-da, here's what I've been working on, I think that most people are going,
the girl's twisting the knife. She'd be so upset with what you're doing right now. She wouldn't even like you. Like, if she did wake up, what's he going to say? Look at what I've built for you. Like,
look what I've done. I know you can't walk or anything, but hey.
You can watch it from your glass case.
Glass case. It was a creepy image.
Yeah.
But I think if that's your selling point, like if you're bringing people in and go, check this out, I've kept her.
It's like a live little Annie doll.
Yeah, kind of. And she clearly
she
couldn't speak or anything like that. So, and again, I think it was a sort of a case of like he's gone crazy.
Yeah,
like, obviously, but it just to me really creepy image. But then you think about it, you're like, maybe not. You didn't really need it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we could have just had the crazed doctor who was injecting himself or whatever, which he does later. Yeah, okay, this is my favourite. The fucking punch up in the hallway with all the zombies. And I've never seen so many people get their heads blown off with a shotgun.
There is some great action there.
Oh,
when he shoots that bloke in the knee and then kicks him. There's some great action there. That had some vibes. They'd been watching some John Wick. Yeah, that action was.
I thought it felt a bit like The Raid.
Yeah.
Very much like The Raid.
Choreography was there.
Yeah. I've got a dislike to some of the choreography, and this is just a personal preference, but the sequence in general, like, never seen so many fucking people get their heads blown off. Well, they come charging at there, bam! You just see their head explode. There's one where he cocks it, he fires it through one guy one guy's head into another guy's
It's
head.
just in that situation, you got to be efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be fighting 1,000 people. You might as well do some one hit wonders and just sort it out.
I really liked it. I think that was the highlight of the film for me. Like, that was the best sequence in the whole movie, and because you've got the girl that they pick up who. Didn't know shit about her. Fucking knew nothing. Yeah, she was in the army, I think was all I remember.
Yeah.
But she whooped some ass. She could whip some ass, which I like.
Definitely had some trauma. Like, you could see she was a bit shell-shocked.
Yeah.
But I like the contrast as a trio. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, well, they also played some bits for laughs. Here and there, like him walking up the stairs and then finding the gun. It had no bullets in it, but he used it as like a
walking stick. That was hilarious.
And the bit where
that was one of my favourite parts.
And he was fucking loving it. He's loving it when he got the walking stick.
Like, it's in this situation. I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
One little bit, but I'm the only person who can
handle it,
sort it out. Yeah.
And I love the bit when he's trying to pull his knife out of the back. but he can't fucking reach.
Put down the alligator, mate. You can put on a few pounds you don't need. Hey, lay off
So
the
I
alligator.
dug that. There's one bit of like humour where I was kind of like, I'm not quite sure why you've got this here, it sort of comes back at the end, and I was a bit like, this is
Not necessary.
nothing.
It missed
sequence, but other than that, I think they found the tone nicely. The knife in the face and then ripping your own skin off, like I was like, that was pretty cool. Like, that was cool because she drags it down his face, and he's just standing there like. And he's got this massive big cut, and then he just goes,
he's like,
pulls
now
his whole
you've
cheek
done
off,
it. And you can see the eye, and you can see that back, that it's got the lizard face underneath there.
I kind of dug all that. And then my last like was killing the soldier by sawing his fucking head off on a shard of glass as he hangs out the side of a window.
That was impressive.
I thought that was very impressive. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, that's cool.
I did enjoy that one.
Yeah, I did enjoy that a lot. So any other likes from you?
Look, I think you've pretty much hit the nail on the head with all of those. They were the bits that stood out for me.
They certainly did.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else.
That's all right. Dislikes.
There was a few that were just. I think some of it was cultural. Everybody being so obedient, and just trusting. Yes, you can have our child. Yes, we'll go to work for you, and that's all right. And they don't question anything until somebody else starts questioning.
And they didn't establish why. Like, they went with the whole idea that it was like a religious cult, kind of. But they never really established what.
You can just see it from a mile away. Like,
I guess maybe there's nothing else because everything else is wrecked.
Yeah.
So we'll take what we can get.
Yeah.
Like the fresh water,
But even when they see all this water, they don't question that even. It's just, if they've got all this stuff, all these resources, they've got running water out of taps and things, no one questions it.
Yeah, true. Especially considering that the rest of the city...
Yeah. She's got to see...
is destroyed. So how the fuck did you get the water?
Yeah, she's got to see all these catatonic, lobotomized kids that are sitting in a classroom for no fucking reason to realise that I don't understand why they're in the classroom. There's no point to it.
Yeah, true.
They're literally experiments, and then they just put them
in
a school for babysitting. I don't know what it is.
If they were being babysitted at a school, there'd be a fucking TV, and they'd have them. We'd be watching fucking some bullshit movie.
I think would have been a much better option. Yes. We're going to experiment on you, but you're going to live this decadent life of entertainment and luxury. You're going to have nice food. You're going to have all the treats you need. You can have fine.
You could have just had them kind of in almost like a dormitory setup.
Yeah,
everyone's sitting around playing games and watching TV and all that sort of shit.
100%.
But they've all been
they don't need to be lobotomized.
Yeah.
In order for it to work.
Yeah.
In order for them to be experimented. They should be like getting experimented on and having their thumbs up going, yeah, this is really good. Yeah.
And not realising and that's how they indoctrinate everyone else.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll love it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Great. But this is where I think it's the biggest problem with it is it's very derivative. So it uses pieces from, Mad Max, from fucking World War Z, from, 28 Days Later. Like, it's using all these similar tropes that those films had already used and not really that successfully.
Yeah, 100%.
And then they mix a little bit of Resident Evil into it. The big problem for me was it felt like two different movies.
Yeah.
So the stuff with Nam San and all those guys, that felt like a post-apocalyptic action movie.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, the girl in this sort of...
in the complex.
Complex, that felt like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And the two of them didn't gel.
It didn't need to be both.
Yes.
It could have been one or the other.
To me, it should have just been the post-apocalyptic action film.
They could have been chasing water, and that would have been infinitely more interesting.
Very much like Waterworld.
Yeah.
Like they're chasing water.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it should have been one. You just pick one. Okay? So we get rid of the whole Resident Evil thing.
Yeah.
We go for a religious cult. They've captured her. And then old mate, he wants to...
It would have been much better because the big bad is insane.
Yeah.
And for some reason, do you think the military would listen to a doctor?
Yeah, there's no explanation for that either.
There's nothing there. He's got this technology that's going to help these reptilian
and they
things
did
going
say
on, but
that he was the only doctor who'd survived.
yeah, but still, you don't need that.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out themselves and to have control for sure.
To me, it needed to be like a religious group that had... And again, that would have been derivative too, but it doesn't matter. Like simple A to B,
yeah,
and just pure action the whole way. There's sections of the film where the girl is investigating and all that, and that's taking like 20 minutes.
It's way too long.
And I'm like, fuck, where is the dude that we saw beat the shit out of everyone? Do you know what I mean? Like, where is he? Is he coming
it's
back?
An action flick, guys. Let's
and
move
then,
on.
then he would come back briefly, and then they'd go back to her.
Yeah.
And the two of them didn't gel together. And so once that happens, it's kind of like that's where a little bit of boredom seeps in.
Yeah.
In about that midsection, it goes once they finally all come together, then the movie starts to really go over the top and becomes very entertaining.
Yeah.
But there's spent a lot of time fart-assing around.
And a lot of it's unnecessary. You've got these two new girls that aren't lobotomized. You don't need to put them in a classroom to placate them. No. You've got a cage. You can put them in a jail cell. You can...
Well, you could have just put them in their room and they were loving life.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly realised, shit, everyone's a bit weird.
Yeah.
I can't leave.
Yeah.
And then keep asking, where's Grandma? Like, Grandma's dead.
Yeah, come on.
Fucking you know where Grandma is.
Know.
Two dudes in black coats took her off. And what? I think she said something about, we're taking her to the hospital. What the fuck?
Yeah, what hospital?
What hospital?
The 15. I like that the cars were 5 minutes away. They're just like, oh, yeah, we'll come back and get them later.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of like, this is so stupid. And she's here going, where's Grandma? What the fuck? Like, shut up. Grandma's gone.
They didn't need... That long trip as well was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to go for this long walk through bushes. That whole bit where they're like, everybody get down, and then they start flashing a light to let the other people know exactly where they were. It made no sense.
Yeah, I know. Who are you worried about? Everyone was in a payroll too. Yeah. So all the thugs were on the payroll.
Yeah.
So why the fuck are they going? Like, who are you worried about? Yeah, I thought they were going to walk into like some creatures.
Yeah.
That's initially what I thought was going to happen. They were going to make the trek, and then about halfway along, some sort of creature was going to come out.
Yeah.
Who was kind of like a botched experiment that old mate had been doing. But no, none of that.
It was just slow.
It got too slow in the guts, and I felt that hurt. And then you've got two different movies competing. Yeah. Two different plot lines, and neither of them could come together very well until we start shooting people a lot. Like that. Once we start shooting everybody, we're like, okay.
Yeah, attention for a bit
you've got me back. You got me back.
I felt like some of the action, though, they were all going in different directions, and it became like a bit too separate. Like I wasn't sure how they were all going to come back and meet up. Like it felt a bit disjointed. Yes. I don't know if you got that vibe as well.
Yeah, I did. I got that vibe quite a bit because, as I said, we separated key characters, and then we bring them all back together, but it takes too long. Yeah. And
they don't have a direct purpose. They don't each have a direct...
Well, the girl they meet along the way, who's, fucking Bruce Lee, she has no real... Her backstory is limited. So I'm like, why do I care about this person? Yeah. And even though I liked the blue between the big fella and the last soldier, they kind of already had him have it out with the girl as well beforehand. So I was kind of like, to me, I think they were trying to showcase, well, he whips her ass, so he's going to be a formidable guy to deal with. Yeah. And yet he kind of wasn't. Yeah. He just got taken out.
We needed to move on at that point.
Which is fine. Like, you take him out because the old mate, Nam San or whatever, was like, he was ass kicking. He was good. He was good to watch. So that kind of placated me on that front. I was kind of like, well, I don't mind because this guy's fucking kicking everyone's ass and I love it.
When the doctor gets cornered when he's got the girl, I don't understand why he doesn't just cop a bullet. Taken style. Liam Neeson would have just taken it out. No questions asked.
Yeah, exactly like he does in Taken, doesn't he? He says, put the gun down.
That's what I was hoping for. Then I watched Taken, I was like, that's what he should have done.
But also, even though I love the fights and shit, I felt some of the choreography. It's that very close quarters, shaky kind of stuff. There were moments where you couldn't see what was going on, and you've got so many people fighting.
It looks like a computer game,
and it's trying to kind of cover everyone. Like it's kind of sweeping around the room, and that's cool. Like, and don't get me wrong, like done 100% correctly, then you probably would know what was going on. But there are moments where it's too close and people are getting thrown to ground and it's darker and shit's fucking shaking and I couldn't really tell what was happening.
I like it when someone pops out around a corner.
Yeah, that's fine.
That stuff's great.
And you need a little bit of that frenetic type of feel, but you also need to slow down a little bit and show us what's going on once we've got into the mix. And I know they do the frenetic stuff when there's like 10 people charging at them.
Yeah.
So that works a little better.
Do you think in reality that Ma can actually fight?
Yeah, maybe. He looks pretty handy.
Yeah.
I think all the actors looked capable in the fighting stuff. Even the young guy who they kind of play off as a bit of a buffoon.
Yeah.
He sort of comes into his own and starts to whip ass. So I feel like
jumping off walls into people.
Yeah, I think the actors looked pretty solid for my. But I just felt there was a little bit too much reliance on being in close quarters with everyone, and once you get in close, it's very, very hard to see what's happening. And there were moments when you couldn't really see. So that was a bit of a letdown in that respect. The overdressed lady.
That was some comic relief.
I know, but I was just kind of like, this is fucking weird. Especially when she turns up and starts trying to pay for alligator meat with jewellery. And she's like, when everything gets back together. And I'm thinking, nothing's coming back together anytime soon. Like, your jewellery's not worth a pinch of shit. And then the young bloke's like, fucking hell, we've been out here for 3 years.
He has no time.
He's got no time.
He doesn't want to go up a set of stairs. He doesn't want to have anything to do with this lady. He does not need that complication in his life.
And then the thugs come and pick her up, don't they? And again, there's this.
And then he steps into action.
Yeah, but there's this humorous element to it where I was kind of like, that this doesn't work. We don't need this.
I was waiting for her to throw a yoo-hoo out there.
yeah. Hold a fucking hanky or something out at him. You know.
Like the dirty gremlin.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh. Yeah, she was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it just to me it was the only humorous bit that didn't quite hit.
Yeah.
And they bring it back at the end. And I was just like, nah, we didn't need any of that. We did not need any of that. And in fact, we didn't even need like the epilogue sort of thing where we came back in and they're cutting up fucking deer meat or whatever and we see them all there.
Yeah.
We didn't need it. It was like 2 minutes of like nothing.
Yeah.
So because it wasn't playing into a sequel or anything like that. So
which I think are they going to try and?
I could see another movie in that. I could. Like you take those similar those characters and put them together as a little crew. I think you could get away with something else.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's in like a post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah, so you're thinking maybe in a different setting. I could see that happening.
Maybe, or, take it into a different type of... you've got to go to action for me. Like, forget the horror stuff. Like, that didn't work.
The reptile soldiers, I don't know how they got anyone to buy into that.
No. Where the fuck does the doctor think he's going with his suitcases?
Where's this location?
There's no fucking airport. There's no... Like, you're not getting picked up by an Uber.
Yeah. I think in his head he was like, we're going to pick this up and rebuild it somewhere else.
Yeah, I know, but...
He did have a big sense of self-importance.
He did, but he also had his daughter's corpse in his carry-on. Come on, mate. Leave it behind. Like, there's no point in keeping that. And they try and kind of go for him. I mean, the fucking luggage leaks.
Yeah.
And he's like...
He was getting loose with the machine gun. What did you think was going to happen, mate?
But also he's kind of leaning over it, sort of... I don't know whether they were trying to go for emotion or something. But I was like, this isn't right. Now, come on.
He's sitting over his love doll. It's
Your daughter was fucking dead, mate. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm trying to run away from my responsibilities for whatever I've done, I'm not taking any. I'm packing light, if you know what I mean.
100%.
Socks, undies, passport, and then see you later.
Nobody's going to kill the human ornament
That's
hanging
right.
on the wall.
Exactly. So
You can come back for that later.
yeah, well, look, if we rebuild, I'll send some of my cronies back to have a bit of a look.
I just don't quite understand why they weren't just like, well, this guy's already killed us. He's done some damage already. Take the girl. Just go.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. It's like, all right, either you're going to put a bullet through him instantly or you're just going to go, all right, take the girl and get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much. He's already caused damage and nothing you're doing is working. Like, just take her. Here you go. We'll see you later. We're going to just get back to our cult and
Yeah, exactly.
he'll sort it out.
But that was it for me. Did you have anything else?
I think we covered it. You've nailed it. Very well analysed. We are cultural.
Well, we've taken the
Beacons.
cultural route, and I feel like we've nailed it. Similar to the way I nailed those names. Don't ask me to do that again.
The one thing that I did find, I thought there'd be subtitles. I did not expect the dubbed voices.
See, I went the subtitle route.
I should have.
Only because I don't have an issue with dubs.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem because a lot of people don't like it because the mouths don't match up with the what's being said. But
Or the voices.
yeah, or the voices, yeah, and then they hire like fucking the wrong people to do it. But I went for the subtitles because I miss things. And I was trying to keep somewhat abreast of what they were saying.
Yeah.
Like, even though after about 20 minutes I was like, none of this is going to be that important.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's going to come down to sort of a visceral thing, not the plot. Like, I'm not going to be sitting there going, oh my God, look at the twists and turns. I was fucking, no, there was none of that. So I realised pretty early on that it probably wasn't going to be that useful to me.
Yeah.
But I guess it just kept me engaged enough because I could see it on the screen in front of me. But that is Badland Hunters. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and on Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for the details of our next film. But until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.